everyone. I really wanted to just quickly jump on before I started today's tutorial. I know last week I released the first vlog. This week I wanted to start rolling out the tutorials, and I kind of wanted to give you some background on what we will be working on. A lot of the work that I do for my clients outside of the art world focuses on marketing, social media, and web development, and I found that specific platforms work really well for certain types of individuals, things that are easy, drag and drop, very intuitive, and Wix is one of those great website platforms that I like to build websites for my clients to then be able to update and use on their own in the future. So what we're going to be doing today is building a website on Wix for one of my clients, and I just want to take you through the process. It's actually really simple. One of the big things I always tell people is have your copy ready, have your imagery ready, organize things in a file system that is easy to access and easy to use, and it just makes the job so much easier because you have all the information that you need before you even launch. Thanks for coming along this ride with me, and I hope you find this informative and helpful. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And yeah, let's get started.
Okay, so the first thing I want to do is show you guys how to sign up for a website. Basically with Wix, you just hit sign in, it'll take you to this login, hit the new to Wix, and you can set up an account. You can either use your email or you can use Facebook or Google. I'm just going to use Google. Pick my account. And if I'm doing this for a client, I would typically use a client contact information, but just for the sake of ease, I'm going to do this. It's going to take you through a series of pages that kind of tries to get a better idea of what kind of website you're building, whether it's for yourself or a client, like in my case. And then it asks for more information. You could choose to skip this part, but I kind of wanted to show you some of the step-by-step sections of this so you can get a better idea of what it's about. But in terms of going through all of this, I didn't want to pull everything through and add in any, personal information here just because, again, I'm building a site for a client, so I kind of skipped this part. And then I'm going to create a website with the Wix Editor. The Wix Editor is fantastic. There's tons and tons of templates to choose from. I'm going to pick one that the client already decided to go with. It was the Success Coach one. He's a therapist, so he wanted something that was nice and clean but inspiring. Okay, so now we're at the Wix backend interface. If you click on Site Actions, it allows you to edit, preview your site, and all those things. We're going to edit right now.
First, I would like to go through the toolbars. So the main areas you will be looking at in the menu pages is your site menu. This is where you add pages to your website. Typically, if you're using a template, it'll have a pre-made site menu, but you can go in and revise and add and update. The next area you'll be looking at is your page background. If you have a specific background that you wanted to have applied to all of your pages, you would add them here. In this particular case, I'm just keeping it simple with a clean white background and utilizing imagery to add some visual interest to each of the pages on the website. Then you have that little plus icon. This is where you can add different elements to your website. You can add text, you can add different types of images and image collections. You can add a visual gallery. I have this personally on my portfolio website, but I don't really need anything like that for this website, but I just wanted to take you through each of the options so that you have a better idea of what you're working with. You can add vector art as well, which is really fun. You can add shapes. I like to add lines to help separate content. And then also there's an interactive section. This allows you to add interactive elements, things that will possibly have animations, where you can scroll through different visual elements. You can also add buttons. So these buttons are basically a call to action. You can add boxes, you can add different visual strips, whether it's just like a clean section of really interesting information, visuals that you want to showcase, contact forms, a welcome area, and there's lists and grids. We'll go over this later in this tutorial. You can add video, music, social icons. You can add additional contact areas, light boxes, or kind of like pop-ups. You can also add user input or database information as well. You can add a blog to your site. We have one already included in this template. There's just so much more. We'll be talking about anchor menus later on as well, but these are all the different options you have here. We also have the Wix app market. Often there's different recommended apps that Wix can have you add to your website. Sometimes it's for paid plans, site search, Wix forums. It just depends on what you need or what you want. There's tons of different apps. Then you're in your media section. This is where you can upload media. You can connect Facebook, Instagram, or upload from your Google Drive. And then you'll see what your site files are. So these are visuals and elements that you've already added to your site. And then there is the blog manager. This is where you can manage your blog posts, create your blog posts, manage your blog pages, add blog elements to different sections of your website as well. And this area down here is focused on developing and setting up your email marketing campaign. And then there's also your data manager. You can add data elements. If you look to the right of the Wix logo, you'll have a drop-down area. This is where you can actually switch pages as well. You don't just have to go to your menu page. You can go to this little drop-down area. You can see all of the site pages as well as any member pages that you may need or want to review. To the right of this, you'll be able to see the views. So you can either have a mobile view or a desktop view. If you click on desktop, it shows desktop. If you click on mobile, it'll show you the mobile view of your page. And we'll go through this again later on in the tutorial. Next to this, you'll see another menu. You have Site, Settings, Tools, Dev Mode, Help, and Upgrade. Your site will allow you to save your site. It'll allow you to preview your website. It'll allow you to publish. It'll allow you to view your published site. And then one of the big things is after you save, if you you shouldn't just X out of your website. I suggest always clicking on Site and then Exit Editor. Under Settings, it allows you to do things like connect domain. You do need to upgrade to do this. Same thing with like getting a mailbox. It also takes you to the premium upgrade area as well. And then also your dashboard, which basically takes you back to your apps, your settings. Next to this is your tools. If you click on tools, you'll see a pop-up that showcases toolbar, rulers, grid lines, and snap to objects. And then the toolbar, when you're working on your website, if you click on toolbar, it'll pop up the toolbar section that you may need if you have to add text, if you have to realign different sections, if you have to resize things. This is a great little pop-up to have. Dev mode, this is basically if you want to add your own custom code. And then there's the help menu, which allows you to see step-by-step videos, connected domain, helps a bit with SEO, and just the editor help center. And then finally, upgrade. You can use Wix for free, but if you want, upgrading would be the option for this.
So what's nice is that a lot of this is really just drag and drop. You can click and edit text, revise information, change images, change text. So that's what I'm starting to do right here. And in fact, I kind of use this template really just as a base. I'm going to end up changing a lot of the imagery, some of the wireframes around, but I'm going to keep this main homepage kind of like call out and call to action just because I think it's a really nice way to kind of draw someone's attention in. So what you'll see is often I kind of play around with different text and words based on the client's needs and their requests. So for this, we wanted to find 3 keywords that really made sense for the client and also made sense for who their potential clients would be. For this specific client, like I said before, he's a therapist and a counselor. He has a background not only in psychology, which is what his master's degree is in, but also in traditional Chinese medicine. So this idea of the mind, body, spirit kind of like trio falls into line with what he wanted on his main page, kind of like reminding people that mental health is incredibly important and so is finding balance, but we have to look at it from a holistic perspective, which incorporates the mind, the body, and the spirit. So as I said before, the Wix templates are super simple to use. Even though a template may come with, prepackaged images and things like that, what's really nice is that Wix has a partnership with sites like Unsplash, which has free stock imagery that you can go through and find and replace images to make sure it fits for your brand, your client's brand, or whatever it is that you're working on in terms of the specific website. So if you click on this background, this is called the strip background. and basically it kind of pulls across the whole entire screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm searching for imagery that makes sense for, again, that whole TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, psychology, mental health, images that are calming, images that kind of imbue balance, images that relate to nature, because that was the big thing the client had requested, something related to nature, outdoors. So I ended up going with this beautiful green image. It kind of has like a hazy sky. It feels like it might be somewhere in Eastern Asia, I'm not sure, but this was the image that the client ended up deciding on and selecting, and all the images that I'm going to end up using from here on out will relate to this type of imagery. I want the branding overall to match. I think that's really important to keep in mind when you're building a website. You want to make sure you don't use any more than 3 typefaces, aka fonts, throughout your site. Same thing with the color themes and the color stories. That's why I'm kind of trying to go with this kind of green, natural feel and vibe with the imagery, and then match it with the base template of that kind of like teal, light blue that they're using for highlights throughout the website. So I want to keep it all consistent. All right, so once you finalize your imagery, you've updated your text, now you can play around with placement. I like to make sure that where I'm placing something, it makes sense visually, and that it can connect with the eye immediately when someone lands on the website. And with Wix, you can just click on a body of text, or click on a title, or click on a button and move it around quite easily. And now I want to scroll down. In terms of this website, it's kind of like the home website is a scrollable option, and then there's a few other pages. I'm using anchors to link those menu items to those sections. And for this client, I'm going to actually delete some of the sections on the home page. So the How Can I Help You section, I'm removing the one-on-one coaching and the booking. And he doesn't need booking through his website. The website is simply just going to be used for just content aggregation, if that makes sense. The book now link at the very, very top of the page is actually going to link out externally to the website of his main organization, and the booking will go through there. So we don't necessarily need booking for this, but they still want to highlight what kind of services they offer. This client has 3 key services that they offer. So when you're on your page, to add some of these main widgets, you'll just hit the little plus button on the left-hand side toolbar and click on Add. And then you have all of these options: text, image, gallery. In this specific case, I want to add a list, like a list grid that's nice and neat, that I can add a visual to and add some sort of explanation. So if I scroll down, and I'm going to end up using this one that kind of looks like it has like a health and fitness focus, and I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to just drag it and drop it into the page. And once I've dragged and dropped, I can go now and actually edit and revise this section. So there's 3 sections. I need to update the text, update the key titles, and then of course update the images. So to change text, all you're doing is clicking inside with your mouse. Make sure whenever you change one set of text in one of the boxes, keep in mind all 3 sections are going to be revised and changed. So it won't be the exact same word, but it will be the same font, the same size, same theme. So just basically keep that in mind, that whenever you use these repeater widgets, they're all going to be essentially the same. And that's what I like about it, because it keeps the consistency. So now what I want to do is change the images. So I'm going to go pull in images that I've downloaded with the client based on, again, this whole vision of the kind of nature, outdoorsy feel that we're looking for, but something that relates to mental health. I love using unsplash.com or pexels.com, and these are just great resources for those of you who are looking to add some sort of visual element to your website. So I'm looking for some visuals based on therapy, and I'm going to save those and I also have some additional ones saved from the client in particular. I can then upload them to Wix. I'll go back to Wix and I'll click on the image and I'm going to select change image, and then I'll find the images that I downloaded as well as the images from my client. You can click on your image and then select choose image, and then it'll load it and replace the image. So I'm going to do this for all three of them. And what I initially noticed with this is that these pictures all had like a filter pre-applied to them. So what I went and did then is I clicked on the image to find out what was going on with it. And then you'll see this little icon. You can scroll over the little icon, so you'll see change image, a widget, a paintbrush, a crop tool, and then this little looks like a magic wand. So if you click on that, that will add filters, or you can remove them. So I unclicked it so that the filter was removed. It's also important to save as you work. What's really nice is that Wix auto saves. In this case, I also wanted to remove the bottom sections because with this particular template, with the widget set, it had specific fitness coaches that you would be working with if you pick that option. But since we're not doing that, it's strictly for information. I'm removing those images and I'm removing that text, and then I'm saving it. I'm going to take you through now how to add pages to your site menu. What's nice is that it's very, very simple. In order to add a page, all you really have to do is go into your menu section, and it says menus and pages. It's your top option, and then you can add a page. And in particular, I'm just doing this again to show you how you can add a page and then embed it underneath a specific section in your menu bar. So I am adding pages for each of the different services, and then I'm dragging them and kind of embedding them under the main service menu option, so that when you click on it, it'll have a drop down. You can rename by clicking on the three dots and renaming it. And then you could also add links so that it would link to a specific page or a link outside of the website. And in this case, I would want each of these to be their own pages. But again, we're not going to keep these because the client didn't want any other additional information in those areas other than that info. So say you have pages that you don't necessarily want on your site. Click on menus and pages, and then to delete them, all you have to do is click on the three buttons on the right hand side of your page, hit the delete trash button, and then the pop-up will come up, and then just hit delete, just ensuring that you do want to delete it. If you don't, you can hit cancel. But in this case, I want to delete them because we didn't need them. Now, as I mentioned, my client won't need booking services on their website, but here I wanted to show you how you can add an email. So to update that, you'll click on the book now, you'll select the link, and then you'll change the link. So right now it's linking to a home page, but in this case we want to link it to an email. Type in the email, and then you'll hit done. So we've updated the text, we've updated the image. Now we're going to actually revise and move around kind of the buttons and the lower sections to make sure everything lines up really nicely. And then I want to update the contact information and make sure that whenever an inquiry from the website comes in, that it goes directly to my client's email. So to do this, we will click on the actual Wix form contact page, and you'll click on the form settings, and it'll take you to a pop-up that allows you to update the form settings. So there's key settings here, your main, you can see your submissions, your settings allows you to update contact information, and then there's also information there for payment and automation if you have an upgrade account and are utilizing the Book Now features. But for what we're doing, we're just going to go into the settings section. And you want to get email notifications so that you can get notified, and we'll update the email contact here. And then when you're done, you can just hit the back button and then X out. So as I mentioned before, I'm using the home page as a scrollable page, and there's two key sections that will link to the menu bar, the About and the Contact. select. So I'm using what is called an anchor point. So if you can see, I have 2 anchor points. There's a contact anchor, and you can move it and adjust it. And then there's also an about anchor that you can, again, move and adjust based on where that section on the homepage begins.
So now we are going to add the anchor point. To do so, we are going to go to the add section on the left-hand side. I'm going to scroll down to more. When we get to more, we're going to go to anchors and then click on the actual anchor option. To add it, just drag it and drop it. Once we drop it, I'm going to remove the old anchor just so that I can show you how this works. Once we drop it, we're going to click on rename. We're going to change it to about and then press enter and then X out. And then we're going to drag it so that it's right at our about section. And then we're going to go to menus and pages. We're going to go to the about menu, click on the 3 dots, and we're going to change the link. And then from a page, we're going to switch it to an anchor, keep it at homepage, and then where on the page is the about section, and then hit done. Okay, so now I want to highlight one of the really great things that I like about the Wix editor. So there's also a way you can review your site, not just for desktop as you normally would see here, but also for your mobile. So to switch to mobile view, you'll click the little phone icon in the upper toolbar, and then it'll take you to basically what looks like a phone. So you want to make sure that everything works well. So in this case, I need to revise the text here a bit so that it fits in one line. And then I'm just going to scroll through and make sure everything works well. So the about anchor is correct, the imagery looks nice, and everything is all in line with what we need it to be. You just want to make sure everything looks nice, not only in your desktop view, but also in the mobile view as well. And keep in mind that whatever you change here isn't necessarily going to change what is shown on the desktop. And if you find you're having trouble using your mouse to move things around, you could also use your arrow keys on your keyboard as well. So now I'm quickly just going to preview the site to see how everything's coming along, make sure it looks appropriate on my computer screen, and just kind of start clicking through to make sure everything is working out. If you're done, you can hit back to editor or you can hit save. This is just preview mode. You can preview both desktop version as well as a mobile version, and that's what those 2 little icons in the upper left hand corner are for. Okay, now if you'll notice, I have under the menus and pages a page that is actually not seen. That's why you see an eyeball with a slash through it. So basically that just means that the page doesn't show up in the menu bar, but it is a page that is published, and this specific page links to that homepage about section where it says read more. If you click on that, it'll take you to this page. In this page, you'll have more information that I'm adding about my client. So I'm pulling in things like qualifications, certifications, degree information, and things like that. I just kind of copied and pasted information that my client had sent in into these sections. I'm revising the text, the spacing as well, just so that things read and flow nicely. And then I'm revising the headers to match the header information that the client has requested. And again, it's as simple as clicking a button and then revising the text. So what I'm noticing with this page in particular is that a lot of text is kind of all placed into one blob, one white space. So I want to find a way to organize things and separate things out. So I'm going to go to the add section of Wix, and I'm going to add shape. I'm going to add themed lines. You can use lines as a design tool just to help guide the eye and separate out key important parts of text in a visual space. So that's what I'm doing. And what's nice is, again, you can just drag and drop and then drag them some more to resize or revise. Okay, so this is the final website. I just wanted to give you an overview of what it looked like once it's done. Like I said, we have the scrolling homepage, a book now that leads to an external website to book client services, the About section. You can read more in the More About Me section. It highlights more of his credentials, treatment approaches, certification. There's also a contact area. There's also this little pop-up for Let's Chat, so if you have any questions, you can type in a message and it'll go directly to an email inbox for him so you can get those. If you click on the services, these are the services that he offers. The blog section, we were able to get one blog post in as well. This is what the blogs actually look like. And everything kind of flows, and the text and the fonts are all very similar. There is the contact section, which is at the bottom of the homepage, and the resources section. And this is where my client will house different files for potential clients or people that may find his information via places like YouTube, so they can download resources and use them on their own as well. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. I hope you found it beneficial if you are working on your own Wix site. I wanted to take you through each of the areas throughout Wix and this template so that you can get a better idea of what you would be working with if you choose to create a website or portfolio using Wix.com. Thanks, and until the next video, I'll talk to you soon.